Hello and welcome to this episode of the Road to Rec League podcast. I'm Callum and today we're going to be covering my preparation for my first set of competitive hockey games. Finally, the time is upon me, getting into some actual competitive games. I kind of talked about this briefly last episode, but tomorrow, as it stands, in less than 24 hours' time, I'm going to be taken to the ice in a draft tournament. So it's up in Swindon. It's going to be I think it's a 3-team, 33-player draft tournament, teams of 10, 18-minute games, continuous play. So no face-offs or anything like that. It's just the only time the clock will stop is if there's an injury, essentially. And aside from that, it's 5-on-5. It's essentially 2 rotating lines. Teams have been drafted, and we'll see how we go. So it should be really good fun. But what I wanted to talk about today was sort of the preparation, I guess, I'm trying to put in. So not just the preparation I'm putting in for tomorrow and have done throughout the week or the last few weeks, but actually sort of, I guess, what I go through when I first touch the ice for training sessions, or what are the things that are on my mind that as I try and work towards more competitive play, and the things I enjoy doing as part of preparation. So the warm-up drills that I particularly have a preference for and things of that nature. And so I'm actually going to start with, I guess, the stuff I've done over the last few weeks. Okay, so we're going to look at the last, say, 3-4 weeks. And then for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been trying to look after myself. Now, actually, if I were to go a bit more broad than that, the last couple of months I have in various different ways. I've been able to shift a few kilos in weight, which is great. So I think a month ago I was around about 87 kilos. I'm 85.5 now. I'm not going crazy and going for a massive calorie deficit. I'm trying to stick to intermittent fasting and around about 2,000 calories a day, there or thereabouts. If I go over, I go over. If I'm under, great. And then 2 days a week, I don't do the fasting. So it's a 5 and 2, 8 and 16, I think it is. So basically I can consume for 8 hours in a day, 5 days a week. And then for 2 of the days of the week, I can be a bit more relaxed about it. This is helpful for weekends. It's also helpful for midweek hockey practices on a Wednesday that start at 11:15 at night. So that's been really helpful for me, building the routines that help me. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a previous episode, but I do struggle to form routines, and it's made easier when I enjoy something. So I like eating food. I mean, most of us do, and I quite like fruit and vegetables, and just generally like hearty food, and big bowls of pasta and rice and stuff like that. Like, I don't just love chocolate and sweets and chips and chicken nuggets or whatever. My problem is that I like, a wide variety of different types of food, and therefore I tend up eating a little bit too much here and there. But again, cutting my consumption window down for days that I can has been really beneficial. So that is something I try and prioritize, which is helpful. So we got that, which has been really good. I've also been focusing on trying to be a bit more active. So I've gotten up on the bike quite a few times on the turbo trainer over the last few weeks, putting in interval training, so sort of 25 minutes, and my intervals tend to be sort of every 4 minutes doing a 30-second effort, full gas, basically trying to build up my anaerobic capacity in my legs, and it's been making a difference, which has been great. And then something I've sort of brought back into my routine is trying to go running a little bit more. So for the last couple of weeks, I've tried to weave in a 5K. Nothing crazy, but I managed to get one in just over a week ago, and that was good too. And then yesterday I went for a 36K bike ride. So it wasn't particularly strenuous, but I made sure to push myself up all the hills. I went with my partner, and we just took it steady and tried to enjoy the day. And then I used the hills to put in a bit of almost like interval training in a sense. Which was good too. So got the best of both worlds, and a small bowl of chips, which were quite nice. But so like I say, in terms of fitness, wellness, eating, drinking water has been important. But I've had a Barocca every day for the last 73 days, I think it is. Just again trying to get the right things in my body to support, I guess, mental wellness, physical wellness, the works. Which has been really helpful. Done stretching a couple times a week as well, just to keep myself loose. I do it every Wednesday before hockey, before I get to the rink. I try and do some stretching because it's really important. I find it really helps with my hip more than anything else. Or my hips, I guess, plural, since I have 2. and also just sort of getting my legs loose as well. So lower body stuff is the primary focus for stretching. But they've been really helpful for me. So what have I noticed? I guess I've noticed I've had a little bit more energy towards the end of training sessions now over the last couple. And also just because I think I'm not really thinking too much about my physical state, I'm able to just focus on the hockey. And yeah, my legs start to give way probably the last shift. But I go all out, because if I don't, then I really stand out as quite shit. So I have to put in the extra effort. So we'll see how we go for this competitive hockey, because the one thing I'm a bit nervous about is sort of peaking too soon, I guess. 18-minute games, every other shift basically. So I'll be on the ice, and then off the ice, and then on the ice, and then off the ice. Don't get a lot of rest time there. And I'll be playing 4 to 5 games. Basically, it's 4 games minimum, and then the best 2 teams of the 3-team league go into a final. So, if I am not in the worst team, then, 5 games. I don't know if I've got the legs for that. We'll see. So I think it's going to be important during the day to like stretch as well. So I'll probably like take my skates off and actually do some stretches between rounds or something, just to try and stay loose, and take lots and lots of the right things with me for hydration and nutrition and stuff. So that's my sort of preparation for the day, I suppose, to stick with the theme of preparation for this podcast. I'm going to need to take fruit. I'm going to need to take water, electrolytes, and then just really focus on making sure my body's in the best place it can be between rounds, because I do think that I need that. Other people won't. They've got better skating capability, better hands, played the game longer, all those sort of good things. So I'm going to have to find my edge somewhere else. I'm going to have to try and retain some level of fitness and wellness to stick with them. So that's absolutely something on the mind. So let's talk about, I guess, routines. So the other routine or type of preparation I wanted to really discuss was that kind of like pre-match, but like pre-training warm-up. And every time we get open ice, you get the first 5-10 minutes just to loosen up, basically. And I thought I'd talk about what I do, because something I've noticed is that people often have very set routines, things they want to do, things they want to work on. And when you watch sort of pro players, they have exactly the same kinds of routines. Some people go down to the rink and visualize before the game. They go and eat the same meal. They hit the ice in the same way. It's the first person on. It's the same last person off. You're doing the same warm-up drills with the same people to get the same kind of feel, so that you've got that level of consistency. Good or bad game, you're approaching it the same way. And so for me, the thing I like to try and do, I've got a few things I do really. So I hop on the ice, and the first thing I do is some like ankle pushes, try and just feel my edges, and just some really soft left and right turns. I know it might sound really silly, but I just try and, I guess, feel out my edges. How sharp are they, and where am I at with them? One of the next things I do once I get up to speed is always try a hard stop on my strong side. Again, it's all about, for me, trying to create that repeatable feeling. So I know if I'm skating hard and I pump the brakes and try and do a hockey stop, how does that feel? How long does it take me? How much do I have to dig in? And what was that like? And then in the same vein, I'll do a transition to skating backwards. So I'll skate forwards and transition to skate backwards. And again, that gives me that kind of feel for what the ice is doing underneath my feet. Really basic things that are important to me because I'm such a beginner skater, but those things are important. I need to be able to feel like I can trust myself, and where I'm going and how I'm feeling. So that's where that's at. And the last thing I do before I involve any puck of any kind is I do a couple of sort of like, hard to explain really. I hold my stick in both hands, right? So I'm right-handed. And I sort of open up I try and face forward and rotate my upper body. So lower half still facing forward, and rotate my upper body so that my stick is on my forehand as far back as it can go. And then I do the same to see how far I can get it around to my backhand. And for whatever reason, that just helps for me kind of give me this range, I guess, in my mind. And the next thing to work on is as I pick up a puck. And I just focus on puck touches. So nothing crazy, no crazy stick handling. It's just a bit of like 1-2 little stick handle, and then just skate around and sort of Get a feel for it that way. So it'd be like a just forehand stuff. Nothing crazy. And I just get a feel for having the puck on my stick. Um, I'll fire in some passes off the boards, so they'll just be straight up and down sort of stuff. I'll try and source a pass to the boards here and there, and do a lot of work with the boards on my own, because then I don't have to rely on someone else to do the same kind of warm-up routine as me. I can just fire in a couple of pucks on the boards, get a feel for it. And then there's a couple of things I do with the boards, I guess. So I try and bank one off the boards and skate forwards into it. So like I'm receiving a pass on the go, and then the other one is as I skate past, I'll pass to the boards on my left, because that's my strong side is my right leg leading. So I'll pass the boards on my left and sort of slow down and turn and sort of transition to picking up the puck and then skating forwards the opposite direction. So I just get a feel for changing direction with the puck on my stick, essentially, or receiving a pass facing the opposite direction the way I've just come. Bit of stick handling, backhand off the wall, pick up the puck, and away we go. So I'll do that a few times just to make sure I can sort of almost like receive a pass while stopping kind of thing, is sort of the idea there. Yeah, do a few of those, and it's a few hard strides after that as well, just to try and get up to speed. And then lastly, it's a couple of shots on net, or a couple of shots at the boards, just to get a feel, again, releasing the puck, and then generally getting that direction right. And then basically until the end, with a little bit of stretching of my back here and there, it's just some head-up puck handling. So, head up, look around, skate around, handle the puck. Lots of sort of toe drag stuff, I guess, because I really quite like that motion of bringing it in close to the body and ended up pushing it onto my left-hand side. So going right and around to left. Feels like a comfortable thing. It's a move that I've used a few times. It's been really helpful. And I just do that a little bit. So I'm head up, skating around, skating between people. Nothing too fast, nothing too crazy. Just trying to get a feel for everything, really. And after that, I kind of feel like I'm in a good place. My favorite thing to roll into following that is the warm-up drill we talked about in the past, which is those figure of 8 drills. Now, we haven't done those. We didn't do those last week. But I did, or I'll talk about it in a bit. But I've really enjoyed those for just getting comfortable on edges. Quick passing as well, just firing passes, one touch stuff or 2 touch at most, and it's just really good for getting that feel for the puck. So that's kind of my ideal warm-up routine for me on my own, and then drills, and then horseshoes. Really helpful, receiving a pass, giving a pass, skating hard, taking a shot. You kind of get to then do all the things I've just talked about in one motion, which has been really helpful. So that's my kind of little like pre training routine, just so that I get the feel of how I'm getting on. And in between some of that, bit of stretching, nothing crazy. They all stood up really. I don't get down on my knees or anything like that. And a bit of smiling and nodding. Maybe they'll pass to a person here or there, but nothing crazy. So that sort of segues, I guess, onto the actual training session that I had on Wednesday. So with the rec team. Obviously, after having done that nice little pre-training session routine, we did go into horseshoes this time around, which was cool. And I felt really comfortable. It felt good. We picked up a nice little skill as well. So while we were doing the 2-on-1s, our captain and coach sort of said, look, try this instead of how we've done things in the past. What we tend to do is sort of both drift towards the goalie and both drift towards the net, and it kind of chokes up a little bit. The defender can kind of play both guys. Something I've always done, or often done, is trail, because I'm not a quick enough skater to beat the defenseman to the net very often, but what I can do is offer a deep option, so then they have to kind of cover me off, which opens up a shooting lane for the other forward. If they don't cover me off, then I'm wide open in the high slot. So that's kind of always been my way in on a horseshoe, is I'll drop the puck to the other person and then immediately start slowing up and being that like deep option. Let them drive the net, draw the man, or I draw the man and they get a clean run to the net. So either way, good opportunities. But in this occasion, we were told to like drive to the hash marks almost and then pull up. So be a little bit more aggressive. So wherever I've kind of not coasted in, but I've kind of gone in slowly. This time sort of drive the net and post up. And actually, it was really cool. I pulled off that exact move, drove the net, slammed the brakes on the hash marks, received the pass, fired it into the goal and scored. Coach and captain was stood there right behind the goal going, oh yeah, good shit, that was exactly it, which was really cool. So it was, like nice to get that positive feedback, that kind of, I'm following what I've been suggested to do and it's yielding a positive result. And I'm getting then that feedback back again. which is really cool. So really enjoyed that. That was good. And then we also did this rebound drill on Wednesday. So sort of made a U shape around the goalie. Someone would shoot from sort of center slot, low at the pads, and basically one save, and then however many rebounds until either we scored or missed the net. And that was really cool. So had a couple of close calls and a couple of fun ones, including some nice little backhand shots or whatever. So that was cool. Really good fun. Really good fun. And then into the scrim. So no timer for this week on the changes, which is good and bad, I suppose. It's good because it means you get into the rhythm of changing as you should. Without no one's going to have a timer there on the day. Downside is you don't get that same even distribution of ice time, and you don't always get the same lines. But we did still manage to make some good connections out there and had a good time. Fewer offensive opportunities this week. There were a couple of times I did find myself in the slot unmarked, but the other forward chose to shoot instead of pass, essentially, which at the end of the day, that's their choice when they get into that position. I'm probably a pass-first guy, and some people are shoot-first, and that's fine too. But it was a shame. I did sort of find myself in the right positions and sort of look, in dangerous positions. I did call for the puck, but again, I'm not very assertive with that either. So that's something for me to work on. Basically, start calling it out a bit more and actually shout for it if I think I can do something. So I should try harder with that one. But that was good. The other challenge was, I think I talked last week about positional play, and something I really thrive on is consistency and almost certainty. And there was no positional certainty with this because we didn't have even line numbers and we were doing rolling changes. So I tried to cover the middle as often as possible. I tried to pick up that center role where I could. But again, it's not always easy when you don't have that clarity over position. I'm sort of saying like, this is the role I play almost, and or I want to play, and I can't always get that opportunity necessarily. I'm really hopeful for tomorrow's session that I'm able to play up the middle. First of all, first tasting competitive environment would be really cool. But also just, again, that positional certainty and doing something I enjoy. Like, I really enjoy back checking and being responsible defensively. So it would be nice to be able to wear that hat, if you like, particularly since it will be competitive. And no better way to cut your teeth, I suspect. So, yeah, a couple of nice moves, I guess, generally speaking. Did some good back checking to prevent some obvious attacking opportunities, which I'm really pleased with. And had one particularly nice one, which was sort of, how do I explain it really? So tracking back to cover off a break from an offensive forward, and basically took them far enough outside. They then slam on the anchors, and so do I. But I did it in a way where I stopped, or almost stopped, I guess, on my strong side, and then sort of opened my body up and started skating towards the middle of the ice. So it was almost like it wasn't really a mohawk, but I was transitioning backwards, almost like stopping to transition to forwards. But I was, skating forward, stopping, and then kind of coming away. It's hard to explain, but I basically made this nice little U shape, and managed to cover off the center of the ice, which is the important part. And then had a really nice little breakout sort of thing going on. I'm so gutted it didn't quite come together actually. So basically, I was in the neutral zone, a little bit high up. I was trying to be an outlet pass, but someone else said, no, you got to come. So basically, someone said, go shorter. So I cut back to my own zone and got in front of the point man. And basically, that's when the puck squirted out that way. So it was really good timing. And I did exactly the same kind of move where I was skating hard, stopped, opened up my body, picked up the puck. Literally, it was perfect timing. Picked up the puck on my forehand, bit of stick handling, chipped the puck past the defender. I then go after it. So I've now beaten the point man. I'm on what I call like a partial breakaway, and then the puck gets stuck in my feet, and I got so annoyed. But that move, someone was like, Jesus, like that move was really good for you. Obviously for me. But yeah, sadly, it got stuck in my feet, and I couldn't quite capitalize. But some of the pieces are starting to get there, some of the confidence is starting to get there, which is really encouraging. And that's obviously in scrim mode, so, would I always take that chance in a game? Probably not. Probably just bank it hard off the boards and try and chase it. But it was good to have a bit of fun with it, almost, and just about get out of the zone, and then I just couldn't quite make it work, which was a shame. But someone picked the puck up from my feet and took it forward, and I made a change. But damn, it was so close to being so good. But and again, a really good session. And when I did get to, play the role I wanted to play, I felt comfortable doing it, which is encouraging. Those are the kind of things you can look to take from a session, regardless of how it goes. That's kind of it, really, for this episode. Then, really just teeing things up nicely for tomorrow. I was about to say next Monday, but that is tomorrow. So obviously, next episode is going to be a bit of a breakdown of the tournament. In terms of other preparation, I did plumb up for a sports watch that has a hockey tracking app on it. And my intent over the next few weeks is to gather hockey data about the way I'm playing. So that'll be fitness stuff. It'll be time on ice, shift length, and then I think it can do, or it can recognize when you're taking wrist shots. So I'm hoping it'll give me a shot count, which will be interesting. We'll see how that goes. But basically, I'm just keen to try and get other ways to learn about the game and about myself and my game. And I figured that was a nice opportunity. So that might form part of future preparation, because it will inform sort of what I need to do and what I need to work on outside of the obvious skating. But it might even indicate changes in progress in fitness over time and things like that. So something to be excited by for me personally. And I can kind of share my hockey data journey with you as well, which will be cool. So that's it really for this episode. Thanks ever so much for listening. And hopefully next time I'll be able to talk positively about my first competitive hockey experience. But until then, I hope you'll have a lovely day wherever you are. And bye for now.